Today is about the trajectory of where we're going and signals the beginning of something new. This morning we announced our transition into the ASUN Conference effective July 1 of this year. To say that we're excited about this move is obviously a gross understatement. I have no doubt that we have identified the conference partner will allow both our institution and our athletics department to benefit an even brighter future.
Joining the ASUN gives us the opportunity to share our story with so many more. This is another step in a very bold journey to elevate our institution further and faster than we ever have.
The work starts now, and we're excited to rise with the ASUN.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome into our Colonel Club preview show for the 2021 EKU volleyball season. Excited to have you along with us as we prepare for August 27th when EKU volleyball takes the court for the first time this season. And to talk about that, we welcome in a couple of people here over the next few minutes. But first, the head coach of the EKU Colonels, Johnna Bazzani, joins us. Coach, good evening and welcome.
Hi, Robert. Thanks for having me. We're definitely excited to get this season going.
It's going to be an exciting one, and one of your top players is going to join us first. Molly Mihalik is going to step in here and talk a little bit about this upcoming season. Molly, a sophomore outside hitter from Grove City, Ohio, a really good freshman season last year, an all OVC newcomer of the year, OVC player of the week multiple times. A new challenge is ahead with the ASUN Conference, Molly. You had such an impactful season. How do you grow and build as this new season comes along for us?
Hi, thank you. I appreciate it. Personally, I think there is a lot of room for growth, and as a collective team, we're young and we have a lot of potential. And the biggest thing that we can carry on from last season is our experiences and hardships that we can use to our advantage. So we had an unorthodox type of season last year due to the COVID restrictions, so we had to learn how to adapt. I know personally I gained a lot of mental toughness, and I believe that as a team we built a lot of character, which will definitely be transferred to the upcoming season. We can definitely use that to our advantage. I know that I'm not satisfied with our last season, so next couple of weeks we need to stay focused and stay locked in and focus on getting better.
The last few months have been so unique. A lot of practice going in this summer. Usually you get a little bit of time off, but a short amount of time between the end of that spring season and this fall season. How important was going through that spring season and helping this team mold and get better with such a young crew last year that you had?
So yeah, going through the spring season, like I said, we learned a lot, and there was a lot of unusual challenges that ultimately exposed us to our weaknesses, one of which was our team chemistry. With the restrictions of not being able to hang out together as an entire team, it definitely hurt us on the court a little bit because we were able to understand the value of building team chemistry off the court and that team bonding. Without communication and confidence in your teammates, you cannot expect to be successful. I know we have the talent individually, and unfortunately, individuality does not win games. When we figure out how to connect and put all the pieces together, I think we're going to surprise a lot of people.
I know this team has now had a lot of chance to bond this summer. They've been together a lot in the gym. See them going down the halls all the time of Alumni Coliseum, getting ready for this upcoming season. One thing that can bond a team sometimes a little bit of social media. And Molly, tell me a little bit about your TikTok account.
So yeah, if you're familiar with the TikTok environment, so it's an upcoming app where you can post videos and do goofy dances, and I think we bonded a lot as a team in making those fun videos. So before games, it was like a pregame ritual where we would, in the locker room, make fun videos, and then I would post them to my TikTok account. I know a couple of other girls would post them to theirs, and I think it just showed our team creativity and that we can just have fun together and, get ready for the games before and have fun and just be creative.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. I hit him all the way up. Money, purple yen.
A lot of fun in the off season, a lot of fun in the locker room as you all get ready for this upcoming season. Molly, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Good luck this season. We know it's going to be a great one for you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Molly. Let's change gears a little bit and bring in the head coach of the Colonels to talk a little bit about Molly, to talk a little bit about this season, to talk a little bit about this program. Coach, we just heard from a young lady who made a huge impact last year, and we know she's going to make a big impact this year as well.
Yeah, Molly had a terrific year for such an unusual season, as she talked about. I think she did everything that I asked her to and more, especially coming in as a freshman. It was an unusual year with COVID, and our season got pushed to the spring, so there's a lot of different restrictions and unknowns. But she kept her head on straight, and she was able to finish up the year on a good note.
You weren't too bad a player back in the day as well, an honorable mention All-American, two-time Mountain West Conference setter of the year. But you've developed such a great pride for this program here at EKU over the 8 years you've been here, and in not trying to create it your own way as you moved from an assistant coach to a head coach, but know that past success has been here. Can you talk a little bit about replicating that success and kind of your philosophy in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy because a lot of people think I used to play here for EKU just because of how much pride and passion have for this university and for the program. And I think the biggest thing when I came in as an assistant that I loved hearing from, the former coach Lori Duncan was just the traditions or the decades of winning traditions here at EKU. I'm the third head coach in program history, so that goes to show the loyalty and the respect that the former coaches before me have for this university. And so wanting to continue to carry on those, traditions that they have, but also bring in, a new environment, new style of play, new energy, but still hold those values of EKU volleyball, to hold true into what I'm trying to build here as well. So it's just been awesome to be here and still working on who we are and what I want to do with this program, but still holding on to that value of the history of EKU volleyball.
This whole state has seen a excitement in volleyball, and it was EKU who had some great success in the past, even before some of that recent success that maybe has been a little more notable. You talked about Coach Duncan, so many others that have come before, without question. I know they've made a huge impact on the program over time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think, with University of Kentucky just winning the national championship, you've got Western, who's a big powerhouse in Kentucky, and then same with EKU. If you look through the record books back in the day, EKU was winning championships left and right, especially under Jerry Palvino. And so, we haven't won an OVC or any type of conference championship since 2004. So going now into the ASUN, we are really wanting to, put our foot in the door and show teams that we can take it to them and get us back to the top. Where we need to be.
Let's take a look ahead to this 2021 season. Excuse me. Tell us about volleyball in the ASUN and what fans can expect this year.
I think volleyball in the ASUN, it's a very good competitive conference. You've got Lipscomb, who just won this past year, Florida Gulf Coast, who's at the top of the conference, and same with Liberty. So I think there's some great competition within the conference. I do think there's some teams that we can really compete with this first year into it. Now that they've split the conference into divisions, I think, with the team that we have and how young we are, and now having my freshmen who will be now sophomores, having that year experience, like Molly said, I do think that we can surprise some teams once we get them all back in the gym together. So, it's a great volleyball conference. I'm really excited. All the coaches are awesome people. The commissioner's awesome. So I'm really excited to get going.
Yeah, I think we'll talk a little bit about the non-conference schedule in just a few minutes as we're actually going to debut part of that schedule this evening. But one piece of the puzzle that's so unique to ASUN volleyball is going to be these 3-day weekends. And you'll get going with those on September 24th. You'll play Jacksonville, Liberty, and FGCU. You'll play those three teams in Nashville on Lipscomb's campus before returning home the following week for a couple games against Jacksonville State and North Alabama here in Richmond. That's homecoming weekend. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But tell us a little bit about what those 3-game weekends look like and what the challenges are of that unique format for scheduling.
So I think that's going to be very unique for a lot of people. Obviously, I know we're going to talk about the preseason matches, but we do play 3 games in the preseason. But this will be different just because they're conference games, and we're going to be playing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I think for all of us, we're just kind of waiting to see and figure out how it's going to go. But I do like the fact, I mean, it does save money in the budget for travel, but that'll be an interesting weekend to just try to prepare for 3 teams within a week of practice. But like I said, we're all going at this together. So I think the advantage could be good for us, in the sense that we're playing at a neutral site and we can compete against 3 teams that it's not the host school. I mean, we don't play the host school when we go down there. So we're both all playing at different sites. So I think I'm excited to see how it goes. I think it can work in the future to carry on these crossover weekends. So I guess we'll find out and see in September.
We'll share some new information on this really soon about some unique events we'll have for alums of the volleyball program, those connected with the volleyball program. And homecoming weekend, we want to encourage you to make your plans now. October 1, October 2, there'll be volleyball all weekend. So make sure to come out. Jacksonville State coming in on October 1, a 3 p.m. matchup. October 2nd, North Alabama takes on the Colonels at 1 p.m. Should be a good weekend of volleyball here. Johnna, tell us a little bit about your staff. And you've had now some consistency. You'll have Jess Reber back, Jeff Patton back. Today you also announced a new graduate assistant.
Mm-hmm. So Jeff has been with me since I took over, and he's been awesome. Him and I work very well together. And he is now the Beachhead volleyball coach, which I think is going to come hand in hand with both programs to make both programs great. But he's been awesome, and he brings a lot of new ideas and new things to the group that really helps the girls. And with his sports psych background, I really think from like a mental toughness standpoint, he does a lot of great things for them. Jess will be coming back for year 2. So it's going to be good for her because she got hired midway through the fall. So her having a complete full season with the team, for her to groom into that spot's going to be awesome. And then, yes, today we announced the hire of Kendall Murrah for our graduate assistant position. And she, her freshman year, she actually had experience playing in the ASUN. So I think she'll help navigate that transition for the girls, especially just with the familiarity with it. And then, she's coming from Mississippi State, which is, a Power 5 school, and the resources that they had and the experiences that she went through, I think are going to be ones that can really help these girls, since she's fresh from it, really just kind of shed to light, and she can be there for them in that personal manner as well.
I think we're in year 3 or 4 of beach volleyball here at EKU. And in the infancy of these programs, there's a lot of overlap in players. Down the road, it'll be a situation where there are more full-time only beach players, but right now a lot of overlap. How does that beach season help these players prep for the indoor season?
I think the beach season helps, especially with the conditioning standpoint. The training that you do outside and the training that you just do in the sand is a lot different than indoor. And the nice thing for us as coaches to see is how that translates to the indoor side. You see girls running faster, jumping higher, and whatnot. But also, I think from a mentality side too, because the games are so different. In the sand, the girls have to learn how to coach themselves and work with their partner to figure things out, since we're not allowed to coach them during the match except for timeout. So you really see girls step out of their comfort level, and really, translate that into the next indoor season. So that's been awesome to see, especially for my freshmen who had such a, a difficult and challenging freshman COVID year, that a lot of them that played beach. I'm excited to see, come Friday on our first practice, how many of those girls are really stepping up and really learning the game and being able to translate that within the team. So there's some great tools that beach players can bring into the indoor piece, physically and mentally.
You'll have about 20 days of official practice before getting going late August, but a little bit unique this summer, I think, maybe on campus a little more than usual coming off the spring season. It's been a productive summer for you, though.
Oh, yeah. So our girls made the commitment to come back early, we don't get any coachable hours with them, but they all came back a month and a half early and trained on their own. Have been doing open gyms, captains practices, and lifting with John Mike. And so that's awesome for me to see as a coach that more than half of my team is committed to coming back. It's not mandatory, and they all want to be here and they all want to train. I was hesitant to think that, with having that short gap in between, if they were going to need a bigger of a break, but from everything that I've kind of heard, they've been doing an awesome job in the weight room and in the gym. And like Molly said, they're building that team chemistry that we need. We're a young team. And so, I'm excited. They all report officially on Thursday, and our first practice is Friday morning. So I'm excited to see how the summer's been kind of paying off for them.
The volleyball offices are right down the hall from mine, and sometimes when you hear loud noises coming from the hallway, that's not a good thing. But I think it's been very good to hear a lot of chatter between the kids, and definitely enjoying each other's company as they hang out around Alumni Coliseum this summer.
Oh yeah, it's so exciting. I mean, I had eight new players last year, so 7 freshmen and 1 transfer, and then we're adding 7 new people this fall. So I've got 3 girls, who are upperclassmen that have been here for a couple years, but besides that, I have pretty much it seems like a brand new team, if I include, my freshmen that are gonna get this extra year back. So it's exciting because they're just so excited, and even my incoming freshmen have been here for at least 2 to 3 weeks, and they've loved every moment of being here this summer. And for me, that's, I worry now that I'm a mom, I'm constantly worrying about them and what they're doing. So it's just good to see that we've got good girls on our team that are taking care of people and being responsible, but also enjoying themselves this summer and getting excited for what's to come this fall.
Definitely a lot of enthusiasm going into what's going to be an exciting schedule, and we'll bring the ASUN map back up as we talk about that schedule a little bit. You'll start the season in Boone, North Carolina. Appalachian State hosting a tournament with UNC Greensboro and Radford. That'll be August 27th and 28th. September 3rd, we'll take this team north up to Chicago. Loyola Chicago plays host to a tournament with Xavier, SIU Edwardsville, a former OVC foe, and the Colonels before a home tournament. And Coach, tell us about getting to host a home tournament here with New Mexico State, Western Illinois, and Western Carolina.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, even when I was an assistant, we had never host before. So it gives us a chance to have some more home games, which is awesome. And also just bringing in fans. I think, you're going to get good crowds from these 3 schools. And it's just a chance to get a lot of people here on campus and into our facility and into our environment. And being able to play 3 games on your home court, especially during a preseason tournament, is just a huge advantage for us. So, we'd love to get as many fans as we can as possible to make this such a great tournament.
After that home tournament, it'll be a trip to Indianapolis, Indiana to take on Butler. Before a trip down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and Southern Miss will play host to the Colonels, UT Chattanooga, and Lamar for a tournament. We talked a little bit about the ASUN schedule that we'll get back into starting on September 24th with the trip to Lipscomb to face Jacksonville, Liberty, and FGCU before homecoming weekend, October 1 and 2, Jacksonville State and North Alabama. Then a big one on the schedule, and this one's going to be in Alumni Coliseum. Western Kentucky is going to travel to face the Colonels in Alumni Coliseum. Coach, that's going to be a fun one.
Yes, it is. We're definitely excited to host them here at home. We played them back in 2019 at their place. And so being able to have them here on campus, we hadn't played Western in a while. And so being able to just build that in-state rivalry back. I know there has been a huge rivalry with basketball with Western and football. And so just being able to get that ball rolling here within the volleyball program and being able to have them at home. So I'm hoping this is going to be a good crowd and a good environment. They're usually a top 25, top 50 team. So it's going to be, a very challenging game for us, but I think we can give them a good fight and give them just a good show. I think it's going to be an enjoyable match to watch. And if we can get the environment and the fans in the stands, then there's no doubt about it. That's just going to fuel the fire for us, the whole team.
October 6th, 6 p.m., Travis Hudson will bring his Western Kentucky Lady Toppers into Alumni Coliseum. That'll take us back into more of the conference schedule and ASUN play, as Central Arkansas will be the opponent on October 8th. Quick turnaround after that Western Kentucky home match, and then a trip to Nashville on October 10th. And then the in-state rivalry in conference play comes up on October 16th, when we'll travel to Bellarmine for a 1 p.m. matchup. And then another one of those 3-game weekends, this time a trip down south to Florida, October 22nd through 24th. It'll be a trip to Jacksonville, Florida, and UNF to face Stetson, North Florida, and Kennesaw. And then a holiday weekend matchup, as October 30th, North Alabama will be the opponent down in Florence, Alabama, and on the 31st, Jacksonville State, a familiar foe for this EKU squad, on October 31. So a little trick-or-treat action down in Jacksonville. The team will then return home, their final home week of the year. It looks like Lipscomb will come to Alumni Coliseum on November 6th, Central Arkansas on November 7th, before ending the regular season on November 14th with the Knights of Bellarmine. 11-19 through 11-21, ASUN postseason play. It's going to be an exciting season, Coach. Looking forward to what's to come. And, you talked about this young team. Excited to get them going against the schedule, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a good schedule and a good preseason schedule that I think is going to prepare us into going into conference. Try to schedule some good teams, but some good competitive teams that I think that we can get some wins out of that. And nothing's better than going into conference play with some wins underneath your belt. So being able to have this preseason to work out the kinks that you need to, or figuring out who your team is and finding that final piece, or that final roster piece of who our starting lineup's going to be, especially going into conference season. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to really help us, especially, with the travel and the ASUN. We've kind of set it up so we can get those travel pieces out of the way and see how the girls can handle that and manage that in the preseason part.
Exciting year ahead, without question. Coach, these kids are getting it done on the court, but in the classroom as well. 3.54 GPA. Most recently, a recent recognition from the AVCA, the Volleyball Coaches Association. Most people don't know that that's located just right up the road, about 20 miles up the road in Lexington. Talk about this team and what they do off the court as well.
I have never, since I've been here, had to worry about the team academically. I think, I've always preached you're a student first. And so you're a student before you're an athlete. And so we really prioritize academics with the girls. I've never had to ask them to do anything on the road they are studying. We have study hall hours in the hotel, but besides that, they are constantly in between matches or in between practices in the locker room studying. And so they've put a lot of hard work and commitment into their academics. And, my goal is, and my job is, to make sure that they walk across that stage and get their diploma, as well as compete at a high level for a championship. And so we have great kids in the classroom and great kids on the court. So I'm super proud of them and the recognition that they deserve, especially during such a trying year with COVID and all the virtual setups that they had. So they did a great job this year academically, and I'm just super proud of them.
Molly, of course, showing she's a Zoom expert tonight with being on our show this evening, and we appreciate you joining us, Coach. Let's take a look at season ticket opportunities. $20 this season will get you in to see the Colonels at Alumni Coliseum. An exciting schedule will include Western Kentucky, the inaugural season in the ASUN Conference for this volleyball program. Coach, how important is it to have a great fan base come out and see this team at Alumni Coliseum this year?
Oh, it's so important. I think we have such a good, family crowd. We get parents that constantly are bringing family, but we just would love to get more of the community support. So being able to get as many fans as possible that we can get in Alumni Coliseum, and really getting out in the community to get our faces known, so people will start buying tickets. But being in that gym, it's got such a huge, it's a huge facility, and that huge vibe that we can use with having the band in there and the crowd really getting engaging in the sport of volleyball is awesome. Like I said, it only fuels our players to want to compete harder. And it fuels me when I'm on the sideline, really, coaching them up when I hear the crowd and with the band. So we would love everybody to go buy their season tickets and come, experience EK volleyball and see this team compete this fall. They're going to be, they're going to be awesome. It's going to be a great year, and it's going to be a normal year, which we're definitely excited about.
$20 gets you into every EKU volleyball game in Alumni Coliseum this year. It's going to be an exciting season on the court. One of those weekends we talked about was homecoming weekend, and we will welcome in all former volleyball players that weekend, and excited to have you anytime. But that weekend we'll also do a little bit of a tailgate and welcome for the first time volleyball as part of the Big E Association, our new alumni association group for former student athletes, former letter winners, former managers, coaches. If you were involved with the program, we can't wait to see you as part of the Big E Association. No membership necessary, but make sure we have your updated contact information so we can let you know what's going on around EKU volleyball. I know we sent out an email or two over the last week. If you did not receive that in your email but want to make sure you stay up to date with the latest on EKU volleyball, please make sure to reach out to the Colonel Club office and we'll get your information updated in the system so that you're keeping up to date. The Colonel Club is the best way to support EKU volleyball. Feel free to reach out to anyone in the Colonel Club staff. I know support has been so important, Johnna, with this team, and we saw it during Giving Day. Just a former alum of the player goes out and gives a huge donation that makes an impact. Just talk about how those philanthropic dollars are of such impact to your program and really make the difference in providing a great, unique experience for the student athlete.
Yes, I'm definitely appreciative of all the alum and everybody who's donated to the volleyball program. I think, this money gives us the opportunity to do a lot of different things that can elevate this program to be where it needs to be. And I think especially for the girls' standpoints, being a Division I institution and having an alum that are donating back to a program that was so successful. And for me, just, not being an alum of this university, but taking on this role now as the head coach, and still people are donating money because they want to see us get to that level that they used to be at. And so it just goes to show the dedication that they have to this university and to, there's been 55 years of volleyball here at EKU. And so I'm very proud to be here and having that support from alumni, and, any money will definitely help benefit our student athletes and where we can be at and where we can get at. So I'm excited, and, I hope we can still keep raising money. And I know alumni will be back in town, hopefully for that homecoming weekend. So that'll be awesome.
Supporters can donate now at EKUsports.com and support any of our 16 sport programs or the Colonel Club. EKUsports.com, link to donate under the Colonel Club. We appreciate your support. There are so many different ways to support EKU athletics. Another one, the 1909 Society, is a new group started recently that allows you to make an impact across the board for EKU athletics. Total investment of $5,000 makes you a member of the 1909 Society, including $2,500 that to the Colonel Club. So you can support the volleyball program with a $2,500 donation, and the Colonel Club with a $2,500 donation to become a member of the 1909 Society. A great opportunity to make a new impact on EKU athletics as this big transition for EKU occurs as we move into the ASUN Conference. Johnna, appreciate you joining us tonight. Anything else you want to say as we kind of close out here and get ready to go on the season Friday? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm excited to get started. There's a lot of work that we got to do, especially going into the ASUN. But it's going to be a great year, have a normal year, and having this experience for the student athletes is what's going to be important. So everybody go buy their tickets tomorrow. I think they're going live and they're going to go on sale in the morning. So everyone go get them. You'll be very surprised with this volleyball team, and I'm excited to get back in the gym on Friday.
It's going to be an exciting year ahead. Coach, thanks for joining us. 9 a.m. tomorrow, season tickets on sale. Feel free to reach out to the ticket office. They'll be happy to help you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. as those seats go on sale, just $20. And you can support EKU athletics and support this volleyball program all season long in the Alumni Coliseum. It's going to be a great year. Cross-state rivals will have Bellarmine, Western Kentucky on the schedule at home, among many more others, including a home conference or a home tournament. It's going to be a great year for EKU volleyball. Thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate your support as always and look forward to seeing you soon. Tomorrow night, we'll be back here at the same time, 7 p.m., as we meet with Matt Kozanuk. the head coach of EKU Soccer. He'll have 4 of his student athletes with him. His seniors will join us. It's going to be a great night to talk EKU Soccer. But again, tonight, we thank you so much for joining us and, again, for your support of EKU Volleyball. Good night, everyone.